What's up guys, Bob87 King here, and today we are going to be doing the top 10 best characters in total drama Pahkitew Island. Which, I mean, it's a season that I know a lot of people hate, but for me personally, I've always enjoyed this season just because of how crazy it is. It's kind of similar to Survivor Gabon, where if you just ignore the fact that this isn't really like total drama, it just feels very disconnected. It's still a really great season just with how wacky it truly is. And also just the fact that the characters, in my opinion, are a lot more enjoyable, kind of. I know this is a wild take to have, but I think Total Drama Pahkitew Island easily could have been the series where there could have been so much faces of the show. People like Skye, Sean, Jasmine, even Topher, Samey, Amy. I think those characters could have been very popular characters if the season was more popular, if the season was more longer, if they came back for more seasons, obviously. But yeah, in the meantime, we only really have Sean and I guess Skye, I guess Jasmine, who are actual popular characters, I guess you could say. And also, I don't hate Sugar. I don't even hate anyone from this cast actually, besides Amy, but that's just because of the way they wrote her. So yeah, this is going to be a very interesting top 10 since I do like everyone from the season. So yeah, let's just get to it with number 10. Alright, coming in at number 10, we have a character who once again didn't even speak, well, barely spoke. And yeah, all he did was make sound effects, and it's Weirdo. And I might be on the minority on this, but I love Weirdo's character. I think Weirdo truly is someone who has a lot of potential, because in his audition tape, he says he's a very shy person, and I think that really could have made an interesting arc for him to where I think if you give him a different cast, I think you could definitely explore him very much. While I feel like on this season, I feel like the tension had to be on characters like Dave, Skye, Jasmine, and Sean, who are people who are high on the list. And I feel like Weirdo kind of gets shafted in the edit. I feel like he definitely was robbed, and I definitely think he had potential to make it a lot further. But I did like his sound effects. I like the fact that he was a shy character, which we don't really see that often. And I think if he were to last longer, he could have made friends with people. I don't know, make him have a friendship with Rodney or something. I don't know. But I think Weirdo is a character who was very enjoyable for the short time he was there, and he also has the Weirdo mixtape, so yeah, Weirdo is at number 10. Alright, coming in at number 9, we have a character who gets a lot of hate nowadays, and I feel like it's understandable why, and she definitely did drop on my rewatch, but I still did enjoy her character. It's Sugar. And Sugar is a character who, as a villain, I would say she's definitely on the weaker side, but in my opinion, there is really no antagonist for Pahkitew Island, and if you really had to choose one, I guess it would have to be Sugar, so I guess she is kind of on the bottom end. But for Pahkitew Island being this very wacky season, I just don't think it's right to say there is a true antagonist. So for that, yeah, I didn't kind of enjoy her rivalry with Ella and how everyone just bashed on Ella, which was very funny because Ella isn't on the list, because Ella's kind of annoying, but not really. I feel bad for Ella, but at the same time, not really enough to like her that much, so she's on the list. But Sugar was pretty funny, actually. Even though most of her jokes were pretty gross, they're still, they're so gross that they're actually funny, so that's why Sugar is at number 9. Also, I did ship her and Leonard, and I really wish Leonard could have made it farther, so then, for Donkla's race, Tammy could be like, oh, I really love Leonard, but I hated seeing him act around with Sugar. But yeah, Sugar has potential, same with Leonard, and I think if they were to make it further into the season, well, at least Leonard, it could have been a nice dynamic to see, because then there's so much couples in the game, like Leonard, Sugar, Dave, and Skye. People were shipping Max and Scarlett in the game, so yeah, it could have been interesting and even more crazy, but Sugar is at number 9. Coming in at number 8, we have a character who I definitely liked a lot more when I first watched the season than on a rewatch. It's Scarlett. And I think Scarlett is a perfect example of a character not reaching its full potential just because of the 13 episode format. And I feel like if the season was 16 episodes or 18 episodes long, I think we really could have seen a nicer progression towards Scarlett being evil. Even though, in my opinion, hot take, is still a good progression, especially in the cave episode where she finds out the island is remote controlled, and then she's like, you know what, I could possibly take over this thing. And even in the Dave episode, I kind of do like that side plot, because it's so weird to me that a lot of characters just were not focusing on the actual game. Like Scarlett was just focusing on destroying the island. Max Topher was just obsessed with taking over Chris. Amy was just hating on Samey the entire time. Like, it was a wild season, and that's kind of what made me enjoy the season a lot more, just to see all these different side plots. And like, because in Total Drama we never really get to see this. I feel like we just see the same, okay, I'm trying to win, but also like, you know, there's always those couples. But yeah, it was just interesting for me to see this kind of villain dynamic between Scarlett and Max. So there's that. And I also do like the fact that, I don't know, Max and Scarlett's interactions is always just really funny to me. I would love to see them on a rival season together. And honestly, for the Scarlet Fever episode, I still like it. I like the scenery. I like the animations for it. I think it's actually pretty cool. Like, Pahkitew Island is a season that I know it's going to be crazy to most people, but I have a lot of nostalgic for, and I just love the visuals to see, like, how it just looked like the, I don't really know what to call it, but like the bunker, I guess, that Chris had in store that Scarlett kind of took over and kind of held the island for ransom. I don't know, it's just pretty cool, and I like Scarlett's character for that. She is at number 8. Alright, coming in at number 7, we have the character who actually plays sevens, and it's Dave. I know Dave gets a lot of hate for being kind of this like nice guy sort of guy when it comes to dating, which he clearly is, and I feel like if you're younger, like 12 to like 13, and you're watching the season live, you would be like, oh my god, I feel so bad for Dave. Skye's just playing around with him, and he's being such a good guy to her. But I feel like once you get older and really start to see how that relationship worked out, it's definitely way more cringier than it was when you first seen it. Obviously, it was kind of weird, especially towards the end where Dave is just howling, but I don't know. The entire Dave and Skye storyline was just something that I think it's actually kind of a good representation of how total drama couples can implode just like that in one season and not have it extend, kind of like with Gwen and Trent. But honestly, I did like Dave in the first half because I feel like he was more like the normal, relatable guy. And I think if he could have stayed like that, he would definitely be number 1 on the list. Because in all the craziness and madness, I feel like Dave would kind of be the one being like, what is this? But like, unfortunately, he wasn't, and he got lumped in with the craziness. But I still enjoyed him for that. He is at number 7. Alright, coming in at number 6, we have a character who had one of the worst eliminations. But in my opinion, I think, even though the elimination was unjustified, I still think I didn't really mind it. It's Max. And Max is another character, well, a lot of these characters, honestly, who I just never truly understood the hate for. It was only just because he was from Pahkitew Island, which I think is just kind of sad because I think Max is truly one of the more funnier characters in total drama, especially when, I mean, the field is kind of weak for characters who are supposed to be funny like Owen, but I think Max just does such a good job of being this kind of messy villain, a villain who kind of was like Scott in All-Stars, but like, the problem that I had with Scott was that he just did not act like that in Revenge. But I feel like for Max, he was pretty much the Scott in All-Stars, but it lasted way longer, and he was more of like a jokester. He was kind of like Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory. He was just really such a mess, but I enjoyed him for every step of the way because he was just, I don't know, there's just something about Max's character that made him so enjoyable for me, because he was at least endearing because he had the whole him being a babysitter plot, which I did like how the audition tape kind of carried over to the actual episode, so that was kind of just nice to see. Max is at number 6. Right, coming in at number 5, we have the character who was kind of part of the Amy-Samey duo. It's Sparemy. And Sparemy is a character who I just really did enjoy, and I think had a lot of potential to do a lot more. She was one of the more nicer characters, and you felt a lot of sympathy for her, but it was nice to see her kind of grow a friendship with Jasmine, and I really wish this season, or at least maybe, I don't know, something to make this cast longer, or the episodes more longer, to kind of really enjoy their friendship a lot more. And it would have been much sadder to see Samey go, for at least Jasmine, since Sean kind of betrayed her. Now Jasmine feels like she's all alone, but that just sucked to see. I loved Sparemy's rivalry with Amy because, I don't know, we don't see that much in total drama. At least for the Redonkulous race, we obviously saw that with Ched and Lorenzo, like these family feuds, but clearly Amy and Sammy have a lot of problems, and I really wish we could see them on rival season again, just to see them duke it out. Maybe Sparemy moves out and, like, you know, they could have this entire beef to settle it on the island once and for all, and maybe we could have them reconcile. But I did enjoy Sparemy's interactions with a lot of the characters, and her trying to say that she's a nice twin when no one would believe her. It's weird that Rodney didn't have a crush on her, which obviously you would expect him to have a crush on everyone, but I don't know. And also, her and Topher are one of my favorite crack ships of all time. Especially when you can hear Amy and Sparemy arguing, and then you hear Amy say, Topher thinks you're fat, which obviously means that Amy does have a small crush on Topher, in which I think one of the writers do confirm that. It wasn't Tom, but I think Jennifer, is that her name? She does say Sparemy does have a small crush on Topher, which I think would have been nice to explore, and I think would have added a lot more depth to Topher's character as well. And speaking of Topher, let's just talk about Topher, who I really did like when I first watched this season as a kid. He was my favorite character at the time of Pahkitew Island, obviously in this generation, not like in general, but he was up there. And obviously when I did rewatch the season, I still do really enjoy Topher's character, mainly just because I think he has a unique design as well as just a nice vibe. I like the fact that he kind of came on the show just to replace Chris, which I think is a unique storyline because we don't really get to see it that well. I don't think we'll ever see it, but like it's just so bizarre, but it's also so weird that it's actually a good storyline, and I think it handled itself pretty well in my opinion. So yeah, Topher is a number 3. I think him and Samey would have been a pretty cute couple together, and I really wish, oh my god, I think they might be my favorite crack ship. I also used to ship Topher and Skye because I also like them aesthetically together, and there's a lot of crack ships I do have in Total Drama, which I'll make a video about that. But yeah, Topher is a number 4. Coming in at number 3, we have the winner of Canada in this season, and it's Skye. And I'm glad that Skye's a character who people are finally turning around, because I feel like she was actually a pretty unique character, and I really did like her design. I mean, she was my second Total Drama crush, so that's something. And I just enjoyed her interactions with a lot of the characters. I liked her friendship with her and Jasmine, because I think this season has the fewest like friendships, so when people do interact like as friends, it's pretty nice to see. And yeah, obviously I do think she was completely right for not wanting to date Dave in the game, because I mean, she's trying to focus on winning the $1 million. And also I think Dave was kind of be dumb by trying to get himself voted out, because I don't know, he could have just quit the game in my opinion. But then again, it kind of would have been weird from like a format standpoint to have like Dave quit the game, then Scarlett get pretty much removed, and then to have Max pretty much removed, and then have Jasmine go home due to pretty much auto elimination, then Shicker go home and on elimination. I mean, the merge still happened really weird, but it was still fun to watch because of the character moments. But Skye is a number 3 in my opinion. She's definitely not my personal winner for the season, even though I do enjoy her character a lot because she is a better version of Zoe. But yeah, I still enjoyed her character. I think she's a deserving finalist. She is at number 3. In the top 2, I mean, this is so weird. Outside of my Revenge of the Island top 10, every single top 2, or at least top 1, has been someone who is in a couple. But at number 2, we do have the winner of Pahkitew Island, at least in my headcanon, it's Sean. And Sean's the character who I really did enjoy this season, and I think the fact that Sean, who was literally afraid of zombies and wanted to use $1 million for an entire spy bunker, and yet that's one of the more normal plot twists in this season, is kind of crazy, and also shows you how whack this season is. But in my opinion, it's wacky in a good way, so I don't really mind it. But also, if you like Total Drama for being kind of down to earth, which I mean the later seasons kind of aren't, but I think Sean probably would be your go-to character, and obviously my number 1 it would be too. And yeah, I think Sean was a pretty great character. I liked his showmans with Jasmine. I think it's kind of wild for Jasmine to even want to split the money, but I'll talk about that when we get to Jasmine, who's clearly number 1. But I think Sean was kind of in the right for that, because if I were to meet someone on Total Drama and someone asked me to split the money, I would probably say no, even if we were dating. Like, obviously I would pay for the dates, but like, I don't think I would give them like a good chunk. Actually, maybe I would, I don't know. But yeah, I did enjoy Sean a lot. He was a character who I was rooting for in the finale as a kid, and still was when I did rewatch the season. So yeah, Sean is at number 2. Alright, coming in at number 1, I mean the top 2 were pretty interchangeable, same with Skye as well, but it's Jasmine. I like the fact that Jasmine was insanely tall, because I mean, if she really wanted to win the $1 million, or at least get $1 million without taxes, then she could have went to the NBA, because she's like, what, 6'6", but you know what, whatever, we moved. But I didn't enjoy Jasmine's character a lot. I liked her friendship with Amy because it showed that Jasmine was at least really caring, and I like the fact that they kind of do build her up as having no friends, which is kind of like the same with Amy. So not Amy, spare me. But like they're able to connect over that and bond over that. I also like her friendship that she kind of did build with Scarlett. Not really though, but like I like their brief small interactions. But yeah, and also her small rivalry with Max. I just think Jasmine's a character who, at least in this season, I think if you were to pair up with any character from this generation, I think no matter what, you're getting a very fun dynamic just because of how kind of serious Jasmine actually does take the game. So yeah, I did like that. I also do like her showmanship with Sean, which is probably one of my favorite couples in total drama, definitely without a doubt. And overall, yeah, Jasmine is just an extremely enjoyable character. I'd love to see her come back if uh, if there's ever like a bringing back some of the OG contestants, which I know it's weird to call Jasmine an OG, but like I don't know. They brought Max and Sugar back for Total Drama, so I could see them bringing back Jasmine for another season of the show. Maybe have her be like a team captain, team leader, and then have her completely run the game. And yeah, honestly, I do enjoy Jasmine a lot. I think she's a character who has probably one of the more potential to become a face of Total Drama. Same with Skye, Sean, even Dave if we were to redeem Dave. So yeah, Jasmine is at number 1. Yeah, so that's the list. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. This is a season that I honestly really do enjoy, and it's something that, to be honest, I do debate if I like the season more than World Tour because of how little. Obviously there are some flaws. Like this season isn't perfect, and in my opinion, I just don't really like how the format is. I really wish there was more voting in the season, and I really wish the season kind of felt. I just wish the season kind of was a bit longer, make the season like 18, 16 episodes, and I feel like you have a great cast on your hands. I also feel like you could have used Sparemy and Amy more often, also Topher, to have like that kind of love triangle. Maybe have Amy kiss Topher and like have Samey be extremely mad at that, and also have Rodney be pretty mad. I don't know, maybe add some more filler characters. And I know a lot of people say, oh, Pahkitew Island's literally just filler characters, but not really when you have when I feel like those characters could have been not filler, and also in my opinion they just weren't, because Amy and Sammy do take up the majority of the screen time in the earlier episodes. But yeah, there's that. Also, you could have Dave and Skye come back. Like I do genuinely feel like Pahkitew Island is such a hidden gem within the Total Drama community, and I do completely enjoy the season, and I might make a video in detail about why this season is so special to me. But yeah, until then, see you guys later. I hope you guys have a great day, and expect more uploads since it is winter break for me. So yeah, there's that, and peace out.